Howdy folks, hope you're all having a good one, and welcome back to Communist Revolutionary Simulator 6. Today, just for a change, we're going to be seeing just how mind-numbingly stupid this game can be. Now, after the previous two episodes, I do realise that that bar has been set rather high. However, I am confident that Far Cry 6 can deliver. At the moment, for reasons known only to himself, but I'm willing to bet it's got something to do with napalm, Philly wants us to find a military fighter plane. Now, I'm no revolutionary tactical genius, but I'm willing to bet that I can probably find one at a military airstrip. Also, the mission objective indicator is saying I have to go this way. I have a sneaking suspicion that once I've found this fighter, I'm going to have to fly it, and that worries me, because the one thing that was a bit problematic in Far Cry 5 was flying aircraft. Helicopters, not so much. Aircraft, kind of tricky. I seem to remember it was the same deal in Ghost Recon Wildlands as well. Generally speaking, these Ubisoft open world games tend to have pretty terrible aircraft controls. Right, there is another guard and he's heavily armoured, but he's on the far side of the aircraft. The fuselage is in the way. I'll just sneak... No, I won't. The gap is only 3 feet wide. I cannot possibly fit through there. Okay, fair enough. Just wait for him to clear the fuselage. And then... What's going on? Are you seriously telling me that the aircraft's hitbox is so big that most of my shots are actually clipping it rather than hitting the bad guy? Yes. I think that was exactly what was happening. Oi! Stop launching those RPGs at my dog. I mean, come on. Seriously? Well, whatever. Close enough for government work. Fortunately, the aircraft didn't take any damage. At least none that I'm aware of. How you doing, Chorizo? You okay? Good. Right. There is somebody else down there. But I should be able to take off and get out shooting range before anybody else on the airstrip becomes a problem. So, flying. Ubisoft's open world games have the least intuitive and the most unrealistic feeling flying controls for fixed wing aircraft in any game I've ever played that allows you to fly fixed wing aircraft, with the possible exception of Grand Theft Auto 5. Okay, those are the flight controls. Let's try not to screw this up. Oh, somebody has spotted me, but I should be airborne before they can do anything about it. And yep, sure enough, just like Far Cry 5, just like Ghost Recon Wildlands, this feels like I'm flying a sponge in a bathtub. Luckily, I don't have to fly it very far. I'm basically pulling a 180 off the airstrip, turning it around, and flying in a nice straight line to an airstrip on the other side of the province. Checking out the bombing view, that should come in handy later. Let's lose a bit of altitude. Fortunately, there are no anti-aircraft gun emplacements. Well, not anymore, I've taken them all out in this area of the province. A couple of 100 metres out. Landing is going to be a challenge. I'm not saying that I have some kind of reputation. I mean, in a game like War Thunder, where it's not that difficult, it does feel like you're flying an aircraft. And I still managed to screw up the landings, so I am not confident about this. Come on, kill the throttle. We're nice and level. And wow, we've done it. No Jingles landings today. Right, Philly. I got that fighter bomber you wanted. I've no idea what kind of aircraft this is supposed to be. A Texan trainer or something like that? I honestly haven't got a clue. Whatever it's supposed to be, based on how they've modelled the weapons in this game, I'm fairly sure that Ubisoft have managed to screw it up. Anyway, done. Philly, here's that fighter bomber you wanted.
Ah, it's beautiful, hero. Time to work the Philly magic. I'll see you back at camp.
Is that it? Seemed a little anticlimactic. I mean, this is Philly. I was expecting explosions. Well, no doubt there's more to come. Oh, I'd better take this call.
Danny, we've picked up some intelligence on José. I think he's starting to crack.
So things are going to get crazier? Just what I need.
Just keep up the pressure.
I'm heading back to the Montero's farm now. See what I can do.
There's always something to do on a farm, Danny.
Nice try, Clara. But you're a city kid like me.
Danny, we need you back at camp.
What's going on?
We need to figure out next steps.
On it. See you soon, Espada.
Right, time to head back to camp, and you know what that means, don't you? I'll need to phone Clara, let her know I've arrived in the province and have just made contact with the Monteneros. Hey, if it's funny once, it's funny every time. Come on, then. Oh, Danny, don't say you've... Wait. No, yeah, there it is.
Clara, I made contact with the Monteros.
How did it go?
Well, Carlos wants nothing to do with me.
I was
but
getting worried there
I
for a
belong to his
minute.
daughter.
I thought the game was working properly.
You need to understand them. Become one of them.
First step is understanding this camp. I'm going to have a look around.
Okay, Danny. Take care of yourself.
Death, taxes, and Ubisoft being shit. The three things in
Here
this
we
universe you can always rely on.
So what's our next move, Espada?
You got any ideas?
You're not listening. You're not listening. Shut your mouth. We have to hit José's tobacco.
Heard enough out of you, Singao.
You just gonna let this happen?
Long time coming, Danny.
Montero Justicia.
Stop!
Your brother's a traitor.
See. And he'll spend the rest of his life making up for it. You ready to look in the mirror and admit your mistakes?
You first, Camila.
Fine. I voted for Castillo. I didn't want to, but Viviro was going to make us rich, wasn't it? Mierda, I doubted you. All of you. I blamed you for not being guerrillas. But Papa was right. To get faith, you gotta give it.
If you want José, you have to think big. He don't where it hurts. His tobacco fields.
We tried that already.
No, all of his fields at once. Draw his soldiers out, leave him open.
That's smart.
Well, lucky for us, Philly plans ahead. Me and the hero got you covered.
Good. We divide our forces. Targeted strikes, checkpoints, guard posts, everything. In and out. And then we hit that airbase hard. Now what the fuck are we still doing here? Dale. Y haranos hasta el final, Roberto. Hasta el final.
Oh, so we're trusting him now, are we? Okay, fine. Let's hope that doesn't come back and bite us in the arse later. Anyway, Philly, what's the big plan?
Napalm Niño, Metal Bird, Hellfire, and the Hope of the West all in one.
So you've flown this?
No, never. I'm afraid of heights. But I'll be the wind beneath your belly. Moral support while you rip Jose a new one. Hero. You're gonna need my soundtrack. Philly magic, babe.
So, the plan, and it's not completely terrible, is to use this aircraft, loaded up with napalm bombs, to burn down the tobacco fields. The theory being that this is going to force Castillo's nephew to commit all of his troops to defending the tobacco fields, which leaves him vulnerable, and we can take him out. There's just one slight problem with this plan. There are still anti-aircraft emplacements up covering the tobacco fields. So, what happened next? And I wasn't recording any of this because I wasn't anticipating anything going wrong. It's almost as if I had never played this game before. So I just ran off camera, took out any anti-aircraft emplacements that were threatening the area of operations, switched into the Soviet gear because it increases damage done in vehicles, and I'm going to be flying a fighter bomber and dropping napalm on those tobacco fields. Came back to the airfield, expecting to find everything as I'd left it. Hang on a minute. Where's the plane gone? I swear I left it right here on the airstrip. Okay. Maybe I have to call it from the vehicle call point. Let's give this a try. Call for plane. Alright, I have two choices. One little hover thing and one fighter. It doesn't look exactly like the aircraft I left here, but it's the only aircraft available, so I guess it's going to have to do. Let's get on board and go and burn some tobacco fields. Or at least that was the plan. Because if you have a look at the aircraft controls down there on the bottom right corner of the screen, you'll notice something's missing. The bomb sight. And the reason that there's no bomb sight in this aircraft is because it's not a fighter bomber. It's just a fighter. So where's my napalm loaded fighter bomber gone? It turns out that if you do not undertake this mission the instant you get it, if you go away for any reason and come back later, your fighter bomber's gone. And so this mission in a fighter bomber should have been done and dusted in 5 minutes maximum. But I don't have a fighter bomber, so I have to do it on foot. And let me tell you kids, doing this mission on foot, you know, the way you're not supposed to do it, is not easy, because José Castillo takes the defense of his tobacco plantations very, very seriously. They have fighter cover, he has helicopter gunships, he has knives, nukes, sharp sticks, you name it, he's not afraid to use it. Which kind of makes sense, because this is not the way that you're supposed to do it. You're supposed to use the fighter bomber loaded with napalm that Philly gave you, which somehow decided that it wanted to disappear the second I left the airfield. Because Ubisoft. So this was not fun. This took a very long time, and I died a lot. Because the tobacco fields are absolutely swarming with defences. I'm not saying it's undoable, but it is extremely difficult. So then I thought to myself, well, do I have to do it on foot? I mean, I can't do it in a fighter bomber, because I don't have a fighter bomber for some bizarre reason. I mean, I had one a minute ago, but it just decided to disappear. I do have a tank, though. Alrighty-roo, this is more like it. This will make short work of this job. Now I have a tank. Although in retrospect, I think my suspicions should have been aroused by the fact that I think it's supposed to be a T-55, seems to get stopped dead in its tracks by the flimsiest of obstacles. Yep, those planks of wood with a couple of wheels attached just stopped this 36-ton tank dead in its tracks. Oh dear. Worse, however, was yet to come. You can use the high explosive shells from the tank, well, not just to take out trucks, aircraft, jeeps, and other tanks, but also the tobacco plantations, and the coaxial machine gun works just fine for dealing with the infantry reinforcements that get called. But what the tank is completely incapable of dealing with, and this is massively ironic because it's the thing that the tank was actually invented for, not this tank, not this T-55-ish thing in particular, but tanks in general were designed to break the deadlock of trench warfare in the First World War. So tanks were designed as a means of crossing trenches safely. And I'm talking about actual trenches here, yeah? 8 feet deep, 4 feet wide, sandbagged. You know, trenches. Actual obstacles. Watch this. Did my tank just get stuck in that drainage ditch? Yes. Yes, it did. I can still shoot up the plantations that are visible from this point and set them on fire, no problem. But there are plantations on the other side that I need to get to. And plantations a couple of miles away that I need to get to. And I can't navigate a 1 foot deep, 3 foot wide drainage ditch. I mean, this doesn't even count as an obstacle. It's something that a child with a bucket and spade could construct in the space of about 10 minutes. And it's stopping a 36-ton tank? Well, there's no way that should be able to hold my weight. And it can't. Okay, well, that at least bears some passing resemblance to reality. Wait, no, it's still intact. It turns out that in Yara, they build wooden footbridges to last. That's a couple of logs and baling wire thrown together that can take the weight of a 36-ton tank. Now, I can reverse off this thing, although I probably shouldn't be able to because I should have bottomed out on it. Well, actually, I shouldn't have even bottomed out on it, I should have crushed it underneath the weight of the tank. Well, I shouldn't have needed to use it in the first place, because the tank should be able to cross a 3-foot wide, 1-foot deep ditch, but, well, you know, this is Ubisoft, so I can't. Turns out you can actually cross these ditches, you just have to come at them at an angle. Oh, no, not quite. Let's keep trying. And there we go. Ubisoft. Like many other things in your game, I don't think tanks work the way you seem to think they do. Well, anyway, even with a tank, this is an extremely difficult mission, because a tank is a rather obvious target. You can't really be subtle in a tank. Oh, no, not at a steep enough angle. Okay, we'll back up and... Well, actually, we'll deal with all of the attention that I've managed to gather before we go any further. And that is kind of the problem, you see, because the tank attracts way more attention than I would if I was creeping around on foot. And that's the real problem, because the tank has the firepower, but it attracts way too much attention. Special forces armed with RPGs, helicopter gunships, other tanks, and while you're attracting all of this attention, the tank keeps getting stuck in places where no tank would ever get stuck. And there are people with RPGs, helicopter gunships, and other tanks shooting at you, so the tank doesn't actually last very long. And guess what happens on this mission? If you die, or leave the mission area for any reason whatsoever. You see all of those tobacco fields that I've destroyed? I'm halfway through. I've done 4 of 8. If you die, if you leave the mission area, it resets your progress back to 0. So that's fun. You have to do it all again. I think I can quite easily say without any fear of contradiction that that was the most infuriating and frustrating 6 hours I have ever spent in a computer game. Yep, something that would have probably taken about 5 minutes if I'd done it the way it was supposed to be done, in a fighter bomber dropping napalm on the plantations, but which I wasn't able to do because the game bugged out and removed my fighter bomber, took 6 hours of sneaking around on foot, quietly trying to torch the tobacco plantations and then running away and hiding, and waiting for the heat to die down, pun not intended. Shortly before my will to live expired, I did manage to get it done. I was actually able to continue the story. It's a shame, really. I mean, this was the closest I came to just quitting this game, because I am enjoying Far Cry 6. Not because it's any good, it's not, it's terrible. But it's amusingly stupid most of the time. When it gets stupidly frustrating, it's not so much fun. And it should have been fun. That's the really annoying part. Strafing those plantations with napalm canisters while engaging in dogfights with the fighter cover should have been fun. Unfortunately, I think the game detected that I was about to have some fun, bugged out, and the fighter bomb made a break for Miami the second I turned my back on it. But wait, I'm saving the best for last. You know what the really infuriating part was? After I'd wasted 6 hours of my life doing that mission the wrong way, I went back to the airfield, and the Libertad fighter bomber with the napalm canisters that did a runner as soon as I turned my back on it was now suddenly available. It's like the game's doing it deliberately just to piss me off. I suppose it's only fair to point out that this is by far the worst bug I've ever encountered playing this game.
Almost there. Where's our tiny general?
One of our guerrillas said he spotted him in the control tower.
Okay, heading there now.
Almost all of the other bugs that I've encountered in this game have just been, you know, stupidly amusing, like Danny forgetting that she's already checked in with Clara every time she goes back to the Montero farm. harmless and amusing bugs like that. This one, however, came this close to making me uninstall. But anyway, we're done, and as advertised, most of José Castillo's troops have left him to go and secure the tobacco plantations. And this is our chance. The game is telling us, oh, he's up there in the control tower on the airfield. This wouldn't be the first time the game had lied to us. It won't be the last time either. Ubisoft keep doing this in their games. Well, it's not just Ubisoft, everybody does it. It's the old bait and switch. It gets a bit tired after a while. It's lazy writing. Oh look, he's up there in the control tower. You get into the control tower and oh no, where can he possibly be? You don't think he's going to rise from below us in a helicopter gunship or anything, because, you know, that would be a bit of a cliche.
Hey, he's not here.
Coño, you sure? Little come mierda could be hiding in some tight places.
No, he's...
Yeah, there it is. Also, can somebody explain to me why those F5 rocket pods are firing what look like machine gun bullets? Yeah, those are supposed to be 55mm high explosive rockets. Ubisoft? Ubisoft? I don't think 55mm high explosive rockets work the way you seem to think they do. Oh, and the gunship just took multiple rocket hits and it's still flying. I don't think Mi-8 helicopter gunships work the way Ubisoft seems to think they do either. In fact, I think I can state without too much fear of contradiction that if the Mi-8 helicopter gunship was capable of taking as many rocket hits in reality as that thing does, the Russians would never have been forced out of Afghanistan. They've popped one straight into his windshield. Yep. They should make tanks out of whatever the windshield of that gunship is made of. The thing is, I know it looks like I'm fighting a helicopter with a rocket launcher, but that's not actually what I'm doing. This is just an arcade game boss fight. I do X amount of damage, he has Z amount of health. You just hit him enough and eventually he's gonna die. Oh, hang on, the Supremo's ready. Fine, that should finish him. So he's taken about 12 rocket hits and then he falls from the sky about 100 feet in a burning wreck of a helicopter. Nobody's going to survive that. Wait, no, he did actually survive that.
2 million!
Of course he did.
Yaren cigarettes. Thought you couldn't find these out here.
Antón loves me. He'll send his army to rape and murder every one of you fucking Monteros for this.
I don't see no Antón. Or your true Yaren friends.
You know, my papa gave me this blade when I was 7. Told me how to throw it, how to kill with it.
You look just like him. Tell me, is there enough of him left to bury?
But this blade doesn't really say Yara's might, does it? You took my land. You took my papa. And now it's time to give.
Yeah, unfortunately, pulling the pin,
Napoleon el Pequeño.
that just releases the spoon, but the grenade's jammed into his mouth, and so is the spoon, so it shouldn't.
Not like I
You'll be
remember.
astonished to hear, grenades don't actually work the way Ubisoft thinks they do either.
Good boy, Chorizo.
Ale's gone. Again.
Well, then that's his choice. And Papa?
Did he get a choice? Did he get to see us win something?
You never would have won anything if he was still here. How the fuck would the Queen of Libertad know?
I know he was never going to give you the farm, Camila. Or the camp. But look what you achieved. Espada, you are what the camp needed. You are what Libertad needs. You are the one to help us take down Castillo.
She's not wrong, Espada. There's no future for the West without help.
And there's no future for Libertad without the West.
Monteros don't shake. We drink.
To the Montero.
To the future.
You want to confess? Confess.
Why are we here? You never even liked José.
Why?
He was an asshole.
Why?
He was weak.
Mi papa had a saying. God gives victory to the lions.
Sounds religious.
Mi papa loved Jesus. He would always say, Jesus would make an amazing Yanin Presidente. Mi Antón always remember. Jesus was both the lion and the lamb. Rule with strength, but understand suffering.
You believe that?
After he was murdered, your grandmother and I were left to survive alone.
She would always remind me of my father's obsession with that verse. She hated it.
Why?
Because he had it all wrong. Be the lion and the lamb? No. She would say, Antón, there are lions and there are lambs. Rule or be ruled. A Castillo must be a lion, for Yara is full of lambs.
You don't talk about her.
She was always strong, smart, powerful, but a woman in Yara. And in those days, she had the wrong skin to lead.
Mi papa was a lamb.
José is a lamb.
You want to know why we're here? You are a lion. And we eat the fucking lambs.
So, in summary, way more frustrating and annoying stupidity than I've gotten used to in any previous point during this Far Cry 6 playthrough, but still enough amusing stupidity to elevate it to the usual level of pants on head what the hell's going on that we've come to expect of Far Cry 6. Sadly, however, we have to bid a fond farewell to an old but gold running joke.
Danny, the West owes you its freedom. But we need to build momentum or the revolution will fail. Maximus Matanzas and the legends are out there and they need your help.
I hear you. Thanks, Clara.
Yeah, sadly, Danny no longer feels the urge to check in with... Wait,
with
no.
Monteros.
There it is! Yes!
Well, Monteros have nothing to do with me, but I get along with his daughter. I think she's my way in.
It's the joke that keeps on giving. Oh, Ubisoft never
First step is
change.
understanding the scam.
That's it for today,
I'm going
folks.
to have a look around.
Hope you enjoyed it, and as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.